Have you ever baked a cake only to find it dry and lacking flavor? Don't worry, I have the perfect solution. A simple cake syrup is the easiest way to keep your cakes moist, tender, and full of flavor. In this video, I'll show you how to make a basic cake syrup using just 3 ingredients, plus tips on how to customize it for different cake flavors. Let's get started. I reach for my trusty small saucepan and pour in a 1/4 cup of sugar, making sure it's evenly spread at the bottom. Next, I measure out a 1/4 cup of water and slowly add it to the sugar, watching as they begin to mix. I place the saucepan over medium heat, allowing the sugar and water to warm up gradually. I pick up my silicone spatula and start stirring gently. I love using a silicone spatula because it scrapes the bottom of the pan effectively, ensuring that the sugar dissolves evenly without sticking or burning. As I continue stirring, I watch as the sugar begins to dissolve, blending seamlessly with the water. This part always feels a bit magical, turning simple ingredients into something that enhances an entire cake. As I stir, I make sure no sugar granules cling stubbornly to the sides of the pan. I've learned the hard way that patience is key. Rushing leads to a grainy syrup, and nobody wants that. After about 2 to 3 minutes, the mixture turns crystal clear, a sure sign it's ready for the next step. I take the pan off the heat and consider an optional but impactful ingredient: vanilla extract. Though I'm not using it in this recipe, it's worth mentioning because of the depth and warmth it brings to a syrup. Just 1 teaspoon fills the air with a sweet aroma and enhances the overall flavor of a cake. Vanilla isn't essential, but it can be a game changer, especially for cakes that need an extra boost. It balances sweetness and pairs beautifully with both simple and complex flavors. Some bakers even swap it for almond or citrus extracts to complement specific cake flavors, whether you choose to add vanilla or another extract. This syrup will ensure your cake stays moist and flavorful. It's a small touch, but one that can make all the difference. However, if you prefer a more neutral syrup, you can skip the vanilla altogether. Your cake will still turn out perfectly moist and delicious. Vanilla extract is optional, but it enhances the overall depth of flavor, complementing most cakes beautifully. It also helps balance the sweetness and adds a comforting aroma. Whether you add it or not, this syrup will keep your cake soft, flavorful, and absolutely irresistible. This is the moment when I feel like a real baker, bringing everything together with just a touch of extra magic. Now comes the waiting game. I let the syrup cool for 5 to 10 minutes, resisting the urge to rush the process. Once it's ready, I carefully transfer it into a squeeze bottle, which makes applying it later a breeze. If I'm not using it immediately, I store it in an airtight container in the fridge, knowing it'll be ready to make my next cake even more amazing. Now, let's put the syrup to good use. If my cake is fresh out of the oven, I give it about 10 minutes to cool slightly before applying the syrup. This short cooling period prevents the syrup from evaporating too quickly while still allowing it to absorb well. To make the application as easy and mess-free as possible, I prefer using a squeeze bottle. This lets me drizzle the syrup evenly across the entire surface of the cake, ensuring every inch gets a touch of moisture. For even better absorption, I take an extra step. Using a skewer or toothpick, I poke small holes all over the cake before pouring the syrup. These little channels help the liquid seep deeper into the cake, reaching every layer and locking in that delicious moisture. The result? A beautifully tender, flavorful cake where every bite is just as moist as the last. If you've ever felt intimidated by baking cakes from scratch, let me tell you, starting with a bundt cake is the way to go. They're one of the easiest types of cakes to make, and they always look impressive with minimal effort. Unlike layered cakes, there's no need to worry about stacking, frosting, or getting perfectly smooth edges. The beautifully designed pan does all the work, giving you a cake that looks elegant straight out of the oven. The best part? Bundt cakes are incredibly forgiving. They don't require fancy decorating skills, and most recipes are simple, using basic pantry ingredients. Plus, because of the pan's unique shape, they bake evenly, making it easier to get a perfect texture without much guesswork. If you're not sure where to start, I've got you covered. I have a whole playlist of bundt cake recipes to choose from. Whether you want something classic, rich, citrusy, or even a little adventurous. These recipes are perfect for beginners and will help you gain confidence in baking without feeling overwhelmed. So if you've been hesitating to bake a cake, this is your sign to start with a bundt cake. It's the easiest way to get into baking. And trust me, once you make one, you'll want to try more. And that's it. A quick and easy simple cake syrup that keeps any cake soft, moist, and absolutely delicious. Try this with your next cake and see the difference. If you found this video helpful, like and subscribe for more baking tips and recipes. And if you want to learn how to perfectly package your cakes for gifting, check out my next video, The Secret to Perfectly Packaging Cakes Like a Pro. I'll see you in my next video, where we'll dive into even more baking tips and tricks. Until then, Happy baking, and enjoy your perfectly moist cake.